I'm Carl Anthony with AutoSens TV, and we're here at AutoSens Brussels 2019. We've returned to the world-renowned AutoWorld Museum, and we're speaking today with Steve Hickling from Spirent Communications. He's their marketing director. And Steve, thank you for joining us, and tell us a little bit about Spirent.
Well, you're very welcome, Carl. Welcome to the Spirent booth. So Spirent are a company who do a number of diverse test needs. The business that I work for specializes in position, navigation, and timing test equipment. Specifically, GNSS or satellite-based navigation systems. And what we do, our core strength is emulating the signals from the satellites. So we synthetically generate satellite signals that allow you to then exercise receivers with or without supplementary sensors in a way that's tough to control in real life.
So Steve, I want to jump into this right away. We were talking off camera. Promise assured. Tell us about that. Let's start with that. Promise assured.
So promise assured is the promise that our customers make to their customers. Every business makes a promise, whether it's explicit or implicit, to their users, that they're going to offer them some value. And how do they know that they can really deliver that value? What we do is we underwrite that with the fidelity and quality of our test solutions. So in essence, our users can know that the promise they make to their customers is assured because of the use of our high fidelity and high quality test equipment.
So Steve, AutoSens attendees, let's say that they come by the booth. What are they going to see? What's happening behind us? What do you have here?
So what we have here is a D-Space Scalexio, which is generating vehicle motion. So this is where the trajectory of the vehicle is being defined. That trajectory is being sent in real time to a GNSS simulator. The simulator then models the positions, ranges to all the satellites, the propagation conditions, so what distortions happen as those signals travel from the satellites to the device under test, and then actually produces those signals in real time. What we've got on the monitor up here is another piece of software which is actually using that information about where the satellites are, where the vehicles are, combining that with a 3D terrain model, in this case of the city, I think it's San Jose, and generates all the reflections. So now that information comes back into the simulator. So we've got vehicle trajectory coming from here, we've got all the reflections coming from there, and then the simulator generates that RF signal. So by an RF signal, I mean something that you can plug into a receiver. It's the same as would be coming from an antenna on a vehicle in that situation, complete with the reflections and that whole richness of environment. And for test purposes, it allows you then to test the receiver, and given that the motion has come externally, you can then use that motion at the same time to coherently generate simulation of other sensors. So if your receiver includes inertial sensors or barometric sensors or bolometry or radar or whatever else it is, you can't test those in isolation. They need to be tested as a complete system, and so generating those signals coherently is really what we're about.
So Steve, your customers then, everything we've talked about here, as far as what you have at the display, the promise assured, what are some of the challenges then that your customers are going to face day in and day out? Let's talk about that.
Well, one of the challenges is you just can't control the satellites themselves. So the real signals that are coming down from space, you have no control of them. So if you were to go out, let's think of an example, paint a picture of somebody going out and doing some tests. They do a drive test, they get some results, they come in, make some modifications to their system, repeat the drive test, they get different results. Well, are those different results as a consequence of the changes, or it's just a different day and the satellites are in a different place and there was a truck passing them this time and there wasn't last time? So in order to get total control of that, you can move the whole thing into a synthetic environment, which is what we do. Then what's important is that synthetic environment is really realistic and controllable. You don't want to be subject to test artifacts that you can't control. It does this on the simulator, but will it do it in real life? So you need to be able to trust that the simulator is going to be really representative of the signals you're going to see in real life. And that's where we've added a lot to our models to make them truly representative.
Steve, Spirent, the name, has kind of some interesting origins. We were talking about this off camera as well. Tell us where the name of the company comes from.
It is an interesting story, and I quite often find people calling us other things, Spirent or whatever. Spirent is supposed to capture the idea of inspired innovation. So the real thing is it's our inspiration. So it's our whole business is focused on creating solutions that do allow customers to deliver their promise to their users. And to do that, you need some unconventional thinking sometimes. So a lot of effort, a lot of time is spent understanding how customers are likely to use equipment and how to make their job easier.
Steve, we may have covered this already, but I think it's important to come back to it. Tell us, what is your favorite part of the job? In working with customers or the technology, what's your favorite part of your role as a marketing director?
Well, that's a good question, and it changes on a day-to-day basis. I have to say, you go into work, there's a new challenge, and you think, wow, this is great. This is really what I'm here for. And then another day, it could be something else. I think ultimately, it's knowing that you've solved somebody's problems. The real thing is knowing that we've genuinely delivered value to somebody. I know it sounds a bit corny, but that really is what makes it worthwhile.
Steve, do you have any final thoughts to add for AutoSens TV viewers today?
Swing by the booth if you're available to do so. You're more than welcome. Oh, and just to mention that we don't only do GPS signals. So I've been using the term GNSS a little bit. If you're not familiar with that, this is a term that is the generic term for all the satellite signals. So Galileo, particularly out here in Brussels, but Galileo, GLONASS, Beidou, these are all satellite signals that you can use, and we generate them all.
It's just like you were saying, Steve, there's more than one satellite up there.
Absolutely, there are. There's a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Steve, I want to thank you for your time. From all of us here at AutoSens TV, we wish you the best of luck here in Brussels.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Speaking today with Steve Hickling from Spirent. For more AutoSens TV, for more AutoSens Brussels, like, subscribe, and share.